Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 36 of the Prophetic Podcast. I am in the studio with Michael Shawn today. Michael, if you'll introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, Michael Shawn, radio personality, stand-up comedian first. Radio just happened to happen.
Okay.
It just happened to happen. God, I'm not blocking any blessings. I appreciate what happened. So 25 years of comedy, 22 years of radio, and started my comedy. Me and Kevin Hart started at a place called the Laugh House in Philly. Obviously, he's doing a lot better. But Michael Blackson, me, oh man, you should know Keith Robinson was one of the outstanding comedians. Mm-hmm. He was there, Charles Walden, a bunch of comedians, Therese Bank, all the Plastic Cup Boys.
Yeah.
And then went on, performed with Kev. Kev opened for me. That's funny. Kev probably forgets Kevin opened for me in Boston, somewhere in Boston.
Really?
It was somewhere we had to go, and that's hilarious.
So you got your comedy start where? Was it in Dallas or was it?
No, in New York.
In New York, okay.
New York, I got my start.
Okay.
But I lived in I was from the Bronx.
Okay.
So I moved to South Jersey with my parents. They moved out there when I was young. So in New York, I was known as the guy from Philly, even though I was from the Bronx.
Yeah.
And in Philly, I was known as the guy from New York. So I really had no identity. Nobody really, but I lived
I'm going to tell you the truth. When I was doing my research on you, ChatGPT told me you were from Dallas.
That's hilarious.
It got you wrong. It got most of your stuff right, but I was like, I don't think he's from Dallas.
They claim me being from Dallas.
Yeah, last night I was like, let me go do some further research. So I typed in on ChatGPT, who is comedian Michael Shawn? And like, give me some particulars.
And I came up.
Oh, yeah, you came up, but it said you were from Dallas.
I mean, I was here for a decade.
That might be why.
I was here for a decade, but it was late in my life. Like, I'm not from Dallas. I don't want nobody.
It got you all wrong.
Because I know them cats from Dallas take that serious if you're not from Dallas.
They do. I don't know why, but they do.
No, they take it. They do. If you don't know how to say already,
So you've had a really cool career from what I read. What is your day-to-day like? As a comedian, as a radio personality, as a father, all the things you do. What is your day-to-day like?
You want my alcohol day like, or my after alcohol with no alcohol?
Both.
You want? All right.
That's what we're here for.
A normal day would be me wake up in the morning, do the morning show on Media Room 360 on YouTube. Mm-hmm. Media Room 360 TV. So wake up, do the show, and at this particular moment, I have a job. Then after the job, I leave, and then I prep for the next morning. I was doing a sports podcast, which is coming up. So normally my day was do a morning show in the morning, do a sports podcast with fellow comedians. In the afternoon, Rodney Perry, Talent, my man Fig, and it's coming back. And then you hit the streets doing shows. Then it's whatever shows are booked, and you grind out doing the shows. And then in between that, you're trying to create this content for the stage and content for the microphone in the morning time. And it's a constant, my mind never stops thinking. Like anything that happens in my life just goes as content.
So you said your alcohol life.
Yeah.
So what's that one? What's the difference?
There's a difference.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Because that includes stopping by the liquor store.
Okay.
So that was a whole process.
Okay.
Especially when I was doing K104.
And I was going to ask you about that too.
Yeah, so that's a whole process of waking up in the morning. Because I wasn't just a social type of, I don't know what people think of alcoholics, but if you were an alcoholic,
it's your whole day.
This is a full-time job that you have. You have to keep a certain amount of alcohol. You got to keep a level of alcohol in your body 24 hours a day
to function.
To function.
Wow. And
then when it gets serious, is that you have to keep a certain level of alcohol in your body just so you won't break out into a seizure.
Wow.
See, that's a whole nother thing that people don't, you see all these movies
right.
and like a lot of people, damn, I forgot her name, so I didn't want to say her name and mess it all up. You say, I want to go to rehab.
Oh, Amy Winehouse.
Amy Winehouse,
yes.
No disrespect. Rest in peace.
Yes.
But a lot of people think, a lot of, there's a lot of stories on how she passed.
Right.
And some people say the reason why she passed is because she tried to stop drinking on her own. And she just went cold turkey. And a lot of people say she may have died from a seizure.
Well, physically, it's hard to do that.
It's impossible.
It's just like drugs, too. If you try
it goes
quit
into
hard drugs, the same thing happens.
So to function without being alcoholic, to function and do a morning show at the station, I used to work at a K104, and then to be able to survive without any alcohol for like 4 hours. Mm-hmm. And people go 4 hours, what's the big deal? No, 4 hours is torture.
Yeah.
If you're used to being at a certain level of alcohol.
So how did it affect you when you were... So your life at K104, I'm assuming, was great, but how did it affect you throughout that process? Because from what I saw, I know you went through some bouts. You took a step down for a little bit, right? if I'm not mistaken, or you had to go.
we did the rehab thing.
Right. So how did that affect your life throughout and while you're at K104? What was that like?
Oh, it just made it, you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I did my job. I was still dope as fuck.
Of course, yeah.
But the alcohol takes its toll. You know what I mean? When you wake up in the morning at 4:30 in the morning and you know you got to do 2 or 3 shots in the morning time to get yourself where your body goes, okay, we can work now. We can go to work now.
Right.
At a certain point, it's going to take its toll. Like you can't keep doing that and keep that pattern up without at some point you slurring on radio. I mean, it's radio.
It's going to happen.
So everything is based on what you're saying into this microphone. And if the slurs start coming, unless the team around you is like, yo, he's still funny. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let him keep going, or they got to send you home or whatever like that. Eventually, the self-destruction is going to come.
See, I've made that mistake on this mic one time. Very, very first episode. I never really let it out because we had drank so much that first episode.
Right.
Nerves, first time in studio in a long time, just trying to figure all this stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, you're watching Drink Champs.
And I was lit.
Yeah,
and I got home. My girl said, "You can't put that shit out." Like you just.
Oh, you was.
Oh,
okay,
it was bad.
Yeah.
It was real
But
bad.
it was one.
It was one. But it was. She told me in that time, like, you can't do that. If you're gonna do this for a long time, you're gonna need to come correct. Make sure you stay in pocket, stay sober. I don't really have an alcohol. I like my alcohol, though.
Right, yeah,
and it felt like
God
the
bless
thing
you.
that I need to calm down. Like, let me have a few turned into a lot, and so I understand. So I can understand what you might have gone through for a long period of time. So,
But you had one.
one.
I can give you a highlight reel of like a year or two of.
Can I ask if you've done any self-reflection or if you've done a process to get past all that? What do you know, or can you pinpoint the time frame in which it all started, like the genesis of it all? Do you have any idea how you got to that point?
Oh, the genesis. That we ain't even got enough time for the genesis. Like that's a lot of therapy I had to go through.
Okay.
To get to where it changed.
So therapy's in play. That's good.
When it changed into. I even have a routine when I say it. I always want to find out when did it turn into a problem, because I was having such a good time and I was making a lot of money. So at that point, I thought everything was fine. I guess the second time you wake up in jail should be a calling card. It should tell you, the second time.
No, first time wasn't it?
Yeah, the first time we always say the same thing, is some bullshit. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody that I know
Yeah.
has wound up in jail at some point for something.
I have as well.
And then the second,
Yeah, I have.
but then the second time,
Yeah.
you would think in your head, you'd be like, well, there's a common denominator here. Both times you were drunk. And then the third time happens. So that was probably when things started to fluctuate. But I was able, because I was still doing my job and being funny.
Right.
You know, for most of the years in radio, I was fed the alcohol. As a comedian, I was fed the alcohol.
I can see that.
Because as long as you do your job, nobody really gives a fuck, nor should they.
You're the entertainment.
You're the entertainment.
Right.
Nobody should really care. You're a grown adult.
Right.
If you want that alcohol and you produce, you get paid. Everybody, they don't care what goes on in your personal life afterwards. They don't see that dark side. And once again, nor should they.
Right.
It's not their place.
It's behind the curtain.
So when it turned into a problem is when I could no longer really be funny. That's what the bottom line is, people outside of people who love me in my life, like people in my circle, my parents, you know, people who love me. Outside of them, the rest of the people only gave a fuck because I was affecting their money.
Exactly.
That was it. Like the love fest of everybody trying to be like, he's so talented. We just hate to see him. No, you hate to see the fact that you're not getting the ratings, or you're not getting the money, or the crowd is complaining because of what I did on stage. And I'm not mad at you for that.
It's their bottom dollar.
Yeah. So that was the difficulty of trying to, when everything switched, it was really, now that I think about it, I'm 52. Now I'm like, it all switched because you.
52?
I'm 52.
ChatGPT didn't tell me that.
Yes, I'm 52.
I was looking for your age, but I was assuming you were in your 40s. But
I'm 52, but thank you.
There you go, man. Yeah.
But when I stopped being able to produce, like when I stopped being able to produce, and it's unfortunate because when you're in this business, all the shit that was going on with my family didn't give me an indication.
Okay.
It was my vain thinking of, this is the prize. This is what I was so focused on performing that all the other stuff was falling apart in my family, but I was still killing it on stage and on that microphone. And that's part of the sickness too, the selfishness, the selfish thinking, where it's just my liquor and me performing, my liquor and me performing. Everything else got pushed to the side.
Did you have mentors throughout this? Was there anyone in your corner telling you, hey, maybe you should kind of chill out, maybe you should see a therapist, maybe you should try to circumvent some of these behaviors with other behaviors, or maybe was there anyone in your corner trying to guide you?
See, there were people who said that, but in most situations that I was in, I was kind of like the focus of the group.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the one they were following.
You were funny too.
So and I was funny. So, even though people would say stuff, like I didn't hear any of that, because the same people that were saying it were the same people that were at the strip clubs with me doing shots. They're like, yo, you might want to eat.
It's that whole thing, like, I can't listen to you if we're doing the same shit. Like,
we're doing the same shit.
Like, how you going to tell me? You're not going to stop.
But they were right.
Yeah,
they were 1,000. And my best friend in the world is Jay Black. And Jay Black is somebody who's been through all the shit with me. And he attempted to. Mm-hmm. But Jay Black is from an old school mentality. Jay Black was still there with me going, just drink some. Like, just do a moderate type of drinking.
That's a Band-Aid, though.
He didn't get.
Yeah.
Because he could get drunk with me and party with me. And the next morning, I needed to have another drink, but he did what normal people did. He recovered.
And kept it moving.
And didn't have a drink again. If he didn't drink for another 2 weeks, it wasn't a big deal. But my cycle kept going. So they were mentors, but there was nobody I was really going to listen to. I was having too much fun. I was arrogant, and you add alcohol to it.
It exacerbates it.
Yeah, now all of a sudden, you think you know everything, and you don't trust people's opinion anyway in this business. You really don't trust people and what their angle is.
Yeah, you don't.
And of course, my mom, my sister, but you always say you don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we always think we're in this special, when you're in this business, we're in this special thing that, like, you just don't get what goes on. You don't get the pressure. Bitch, everybody got pressure.
All of us.
Every single, house mom.
There was pressure. You come here, Dad. I was like, we got to show up. I mean, there's pressure. There's always pressure.
There's always pressure, but we always got this little thing where we make it seem like, oh,
it's special.
You don't get what it's like being on the microphone in front of millions and just. But it was all the bullshit. You're drunk, you're addicted, you're addicted. So with the mentor situation, and I guess the one mentor who tried to mentor me when I was young, he died.
Okay.
But he warned me. He warned me when I was young.
That could be a problem.
Actually, my uncle Domingo, he was a heroin addict, and but an amazing person, basketball star, handsome, the life of every party, the biggest personality ever, and that was during the AIDS epidemic, when AIDS really hit New York, and he passed away. But he warned me. He gave me warning, and it's so funny that I think about it now, and I think about I would sleep over my grandmother's house. We'd stay over there in the Bronx, and he would come home. He'd be high, whatever. But then when he'd be right, he'd warn me. He's like, you don't want to be a part of this. And he actually had forward thinking. He didn't keep alcohol as a sidebar. He didn't make alcohol like, just don't do heroin. And he was like, look, it's all of this shit.
It's all bad.
It's all of this shit can turn into the deepest, darkest part of your life. And then, he passed away when I was about 16. And I really wasn't drinking. I was a late bloomer, honestly. Like, I really didn't start drinking till about, like, I would have a beer or something. Mm-hmm. But I didn't start drinking till I was like 23. So
you got in the game late.
So I got in the game late.
Yeah, I started when I was 14.
So and I was disgusted. The whole thought about people getting drunk and all this other stuff. I was like, who needs it?
Right.
Little did I know there was a pattern. And I don't want to call it genetic. Some people say it's genetic. Some people say it is your family history. There's a bunch of stuff. But that was the one mentor that really tried. And I think, I'm not sure. I shouldn't say I think maybe if he would have been around longer, maybe things would have been different. But I can't say that for sure.
Possibly, because you said he was the voice of reason. Everyone else was just kind of feeding you, so he might have been.
Yeah.
What was so you had mentors, you had this road going that you were traveling down. What was the breaking point? There had to be a point where you said, okay, I have to make some type of significant change. And what point was that?
People always ask that question, like, what was the breaking point? What was the rock bottom? Mm-hmm. It was like 60 of them.
Oh.
Like, trust me, I wish I could have had a rock bottom
like
and been like, hey, let's straighten up. Yeah. What you doing? There's like 60 of them. Because you fight back, you get back, and then you play the game of I'll just drink on the weekends, or I'll just drink this, or I can. Dog, the thought still comes in my head now. Mm-hmm. The thought still comes in my head, like, we could really just have like 4 or 5 shots.
4 or 5 shots is still, for me, that's like.
That's the night for you, right?
That's a whole, that is the night.
That's the night.
Yeah, that's the night. I mean, that's it for me.
You give me if I do 4 doubles, I'm good.
4 doubles, that's 8 shots.
Yes, I'm good.
Definitely not driving anywhere at all. Like that's, you might get me with 2 doubles. That's the night for me.
Like doing 1 double, which is just annoying to me. Like it doesn't even make any sense. You just drink something that tastes disgusting.
I'm gonna let you know now. We're not gonna be able to drink together. I'm not gonna be able to hang. But where are you at in your life now? With not that I want to hang on alcohol, but where are you at now? Where are you at now with all that?
I'm I'm sober today because I've done the whole. I've been sober for 3 years. I've been sober for 6 months. I've done that. Now I'm just like every day. I'm just like I'm sober today. I don't make any promises to anybody. I don't make any promises to anybody who's around me. For no reason, I could literally walk to a liquor store at 2:00 in the afternoon and decide I'm going to drink.
Right.
It's not this scientific thing where you just, it's so baffling. If you go to AA, and I don't go to AA, I used to go to AA all the time. No disrespect to AA because it saved a lot of people.
Right.
But when they said this disease is baffling, it really is. Because I literally have a Bible of evidence that says I should not drink. A Bible.
Right.
Every age from the age of 23, I can chapter and verse. And there's still this voice that will come up and be like, hey, we could drink some. It's good. Ignore all the shit that you know.
So it truly is the forever battle.
It is. It is.
Most people that have been addicted to any type of substance have said that it's a daily battle.
Yeah, I joke with people all the time. God will not let me hit the Powerball, like a $300 million Powerball, because couldn't nobody tell me not to drink.
No.
I would literally, I know if I won $300 million, I would go to an accountant, whatever financial firm. I would get a list of people. These are the people who need to be taken care of. Make sure these are the trust funds for the kids. And everybody gets their money. And if it takes a month, I would do it for a month. And then when all the money was put away and everybody was good, you know,
yeah, I know what it's going.
I'm getting on a private jet.
You're going crazy.
And I'm going to sit on the beach
and go crazy.
Because I already know I'm not even in that place that I can lie to myself right now.
Right.
Like right now, my recovery is all about is really just survival for me because I know when I'm sober, things work. Everything comes together. It always comes together.
Of course.
But I'm still not there where I'm like, oh, life is so great without this. Life is better. Life is a lot better.
You probably feel better a little bit.
Yeah, I feel tons better.
Right.
I love waking up with no hangover. I love being able to go to the gym and do all that stuff. But there's still a voice in there like going, yeah, boy, that would be some shit if there was no money problems and nobody could come to me like, you're going to let people down. Everybody's already been paid for.
Do what you want.
Do what you want. So it's a gradual progress. So I don't even keep how many days, how many.
Yeah.
In the back of my mind, I know the last day.
Just day to day.
But it's every morning is the brand new day. Like if you've been sober for 20 years, it really doesn't matter. All that matters is that you're sober at this point or whatever time it is.
So let me ask you this: as a father, because I'm a father as well.
Yeah.
How did that affect any of that?
I burnt it all down to the ground.
Oh wow.
Like when like people think I be fucking around. I burnt everything to the ground. Like God kept saying, you can stop, but you seem not to want to listen. So I don't believe God takes it from you. God just knows what's about to happen, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So I burnt the career on the radio down to the ground. I burnt the comedy career down to the ground. And then I wasn't in touch with my family because I burnt that down to the ground. So we're at ground zero. It was just me. Let me tell you something. I had to go back after making, I'm not saying I didn't make millions, but I made a ton of money where I never worried about a bill.
Right.
Never worried about anything.
You're comfortable.
Yeah, Christmas got done with no problem. I burnt it down to the point where I was in the same bedroom at my mom's house after being kicked out my family's house. I was in my same bedroom at my mom's house, the same exact size bed with a fucking salt and pepper poster on my wall. And I was sleeping at my mom's house again.
Oh, you burnt it down.
Damn, but hold up. It gets better. You would think at that point, I'd be like, yo, let's shape it up. Let's get it together. Oh, no.
So you kept going.
Kept going.
Oh, hell.
I said, let's dig this hole. And I tell people a lot, sometimes you dig the hole so deep that when you look up, you go like, there's no way I can get out of this. Yeah. So I might as well just keep digging.
So then what got you out of it? So what was the point? Not that there was a breaking point,
Yeah.
but what was the driving force to say, you know what, I have to move at least in the direction of positivity?
I had a seizure October 31st, and I was in the driveway, and we were trying to jump my car, and we had to call AAA. And I could feel my body was going through something. But I was talking to the white dude who was trying to jump it and everything like that. And that's the last thing I remember. And I collapsed and I busted my head on the cement and was bleeding out. And the only reason I feel that I'm still here is because that white guy happened to be helping me jump my car. If I kept doing it myself, which I was trying, if I hadn't just tapped out and be like, let me just call AAA, I can't do this. So that was one of the most recent. And that one put me in a state where I woke up in the ambulance with people pressing on my chest. And they were all surrounding me. So then, what we all do, I panic. And I'm not a tough guy, but if somebody's grabbing on my chest, I'm gonna start punching.
Right.
And that's when I woke up, and I literally at that time, and this is not funny, but this is so ironic. In that hospital, I believe I had a mental breakdown. Cause I was hallucinating, I was singing things, I was seeing shit, I was saying things. Those nurses and I don't know how they dealt with me, because I only remember bits and pieces of being in there. And then that was a major one. So I stayed sober. I went to a treatment facility. Now, I didn't go to the facility. I was going to meetings. I think I was correct. I was going to meetings. And then I relapsed again after all that. Relapsed again. And that was the last one where I did everything I could to now burn down my latest venture, which is a TV production thing that we were doing. Mm-hmm. So I did everything I could to burn that shit down too. And that was the one till right now, on whatever date today is, I don't know when it's gonna air, to this date, that was the one, that wasn't the worst one of all, but that was just the one where the old cliche, I just got sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right.
And I submitted. And I was like, okay, fuck it. This is my talk to God. Fuck it. Okay. This is what you want me to do. I'll try and do the next right thing, the next simple right thing. I don't care what it is. If it's taking out the trash, I'll take out the trash. Just you just take it from here, and I'll just do the next right thing. In the best way I can think. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes what we think is the right thing ain't the right thing.
Right.
In my prayer, I was like, I will try and do the next right thing. You just take me where you want to take me to. Because I can't. Like, you won.
No, listening to you, it makes me think that a lot of times we see people in a certain trajectory or a certain spotlight or a certain area of their life where we think, oh man, they got it all together. You really don't know what the fuck people have going on. You don't. Like, you could assume that a person, I met you at the Big Thought event, right? I wouldn't have never known. I mean, I've read about you, obviously. I've seen you throughout my life growing up in Dallas. I've seen you around, right? Right. But I wouldn't have known any of that. I mean, even those stories don't make it to headlines a lot of times. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, sometimes
but
they don't.
A lot of times you have to give, actually most times you need to give people grace because they really are going through things that you don't know.
Every single person is going through something. And the for some reason, it's so hard for people just to be nice to people.
I appreciated you for just being nice the night we met. It was a busy night. Yeah. There's a lot of things going on. You could be like, hey, man, get out of here. But you were nice. You were cool. And I've always appreciated that about you because my first interaction with you was you being nice.
Well, God bless. Because there's probably, when you put this, there's probably, there's probably
Is he always nice?
A nice, that's Shawn. She's talking. He's talking.
Is he always nice? Is he? You can break the fourth wall. Is he nice? She looking at me like,
there is a large fan club, hate club who differ with you.
Well, I'm not in that one.
So, and I always
try to everything, honestly.
Thank you. And there's some people who are going to go to their grave saying he's an asshole for real. And you know what? They might have some evidence to the...
I think I got a few of those. It's okay.
Yeah, to prove it. But okay. I beat myself up enough in my life or for the shit that I've done in the past. All I can do is look in the mirror and accept it. Because I talk in the mirror a lot. Like, if you ever, like, in my house, people already know I'm talking to myself.
If Alexa is recording, I talk to myself a lot. Done. So, yeah, but I understand.
You just gotta look in the mirror and just deal with whatever horrendous acts that you've been a part of and hurting people. And but there's nothing I can do about it. So beating myself up was half the reason, because you've done so much shit that you're trying to run from this stuff. Mm-hmm. So you go to alcohol or whatever drug you use. And that just helps you create some new shit that you're going to regret. It's like the craziest cycle ever. You're running because you don't want to deal with everything you don't want to deal with what you've done to your family, your kids, what you've done professionally, the people you've let down. So you go to alcohol and you get drunk, and guess what you do? You go right into the same pattern. You got a new. Dog, I don't know how many shows that I may have bombed that 2 weeks before the show, I said, I'm not going to get drunk. Like literally, I'm not going to. I was telling myself.
And the only reason you bomb is because of the alcohol.
Because I'm sitting there, and I'm like, well, we'll just have 3. We'll just have 4 playing the same game. But I can't. I beat my ass over the shit I've done. And I can't do it at 52 anymore.
So what's your approach to life now? You've gone through all this stuff at 52. What's your approach?
Just go. Just go and do the stuff that you know is the right stuff to do. And do it and try and be as kind as possible. But understand, if you happen to slip up and your mouth happens to get you into some trouble, or you happen to maybe start regretting some shit you said, you can always apologize to the person, and then you keep it moving. Because this memory shit will eat you up. Memories will eat you up. Your past history will eat you up if you allow it to.
That part is kind of interesting, because this past week I was sitting thinking, like, you really do think about your past more than you probably are aware of. Like, it's at the forefront of your brain more than you probably think about it. You don't realize I'm still calling back to old things.
What?
And I'm not allowing myself to move forward with grace. I'm not giving myself grace.
Yeah.
I fucked up a lot. It's okay.
And you're not the champion.
You're not the
champion of fucking up.
No, you're not.
Like in the grand scheme of things, if we all kept the scoreboard, trust me, we probably wouldn't even be in the top 600,000.
This is true. But I don't give myself enough. I'm sorry, I don't give myself enough grace. A lot of times I'm so focused on, well, how's the show going? How's the business going?
Right.
Like, I'm never thinking about, hey, you've come a long way from where you were, and it was bad, but you've come so much further than you ever gave yourself credit for. And so how, for you, what's that process like? Have you had those thoughts as well, where you're like, you know what? I need to give myself more grace, because I had all the shit you just told me about.
Right.
But here I am now. I'm still kicking ass. So do you ever have to stop and give yourself grace too?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, now it's little things like waking up, and like I said, not being hungover. Mm-hmm. We got another one under the belt.
Hey, that's what's up.
And today's the next. And now, let's keep this momentum going. Yeah. And you know, it's still hard for me to give myself credit. I'm not gonna lie. It's still hard. Like, I have to force feed telling myself I'm the shit. Even
with all of your accolades, everything you've done.
Everything, like, to me, I can't even pinpoint everything I've done, because it seems like a blur of everything just happened, one thing with it. And I never stopped and appreciated anything.
Like, the whole entire time? So not BET, not HBO, not any of it.
When I take BET Comic View, we were in LA. Gary Owens was the host. Mm-hmm. On my show was D. Ray Davis was taping. I went out there by myself. I was in a hotel room by myself. I went out there. I went to the trailer. Nobody knew me. So comedians are just like everybody else. Nobody's fucking with you because you're not part of the clique. I've never been part of the clique.
What's the clique?
The clique is, there's a clique of comedians, just like there's a clique of NBA players who hang out with each other, just like there's a clique of
there's a clique of podcasters.
Clique of podcasters who got a certain amount of views and streams, and they hang out and they reminisce and try and throw all this knowledge about podcasting, and they run the gospel down on. Same thing with comedians. Comedians sit at the bar at the head of the line. Yeah, they gatekeep. Yeah. Oh, that's never gonna work and shit like that. Yeah. So my point of that is, with Comic View, I was by myself the entire taping. So when I went and killed it, after I got off, I don't even think I had a cell phone when I taped. So I went to the trailer, and then some people came, yo, you killed it. And I just went back to the hotel room and went back to the bar. So I really didn't have that
breakout kind of
that championship. Let's pop bottles, and you finally did it.
You just gritted it out.
Yeah, and I did it. I killed it. It changed my life. It had me flying all over the country at like 20 something in my 20s. It had me selling out places. It had me, when I came back to Jersey, I was doing a show. It was the first of the month comedy show where everybody performed. Like every comedian you know performed there. But I realized then that was like my celebration because when it aired and the day after was the show. And then there was like 1,500 people there.
Oh, that's fire.
So that was the celebration. That was the one time that I acknowledged. But then I got pissy drunk and partied and then went on to the next thing. Then got pissy drunk, partied, went on to the next
thing. So you never celebrated a moment.
I never
you just
really
kind of kept it rolling.
I never really sat back. And the disrespectful thing is I never really sat back and actually thanked God for it. I just thought this was the beginning of this is going to continue on and let's get what we can get from it. And I never really, and now when my daughter comes home from going, like my oldest daughter's 19. When I hear the door open and know that she's home, I thank God.
So you are celebrating
so
the wins.
Now
so the wins don't look the same that they did before, but you're celebrating every moment.
I'm celebrating every little, like just an achievement is just not, is doing what I said I was going to do. Mm-hmm. Then I'm like, good looking, God. Appreciate that. And, little things like that. But I never really look back on my past. Excuse me. There is a lot of shit I did.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff
From what you're telling me, yeah.
There's a lot of stuff that I don't get, that I hate to be, I don't get credit for, but you're not supposed to do this to get credit for it. Mm-hmm. But I'd be lying if I didn't say, sometimes I look and I go, like, I did that. Like, I did this. And somebody else is getting the round of applause. I'm like, yeah, but I thought of that. I did that. Like, it is documented. It's not like I'm making it up.
No,
like,
I've seen some stuff that we've done that's been replicated. I'd never say anything, but it's okay.
But but I'm trying to actually embrace every moment now, and it's fun.
So, how is fatherhood for you? Father to father. What do you have any proud moments as a father? How is it? I don't get to talk to too many fathers on the show, so you know what it is when you fuck up, it kind of blurs all the good stuff. And like you just said, do you think about your accolades? Do you think about the history that you've had? I've had super moments. I love being a dad. I love having 3 girls. I also you're a girl dad too. Hey, me too. Me too.
And how many girls you got?
Just one.
Just one. Okay.
She might get another one. We'll see. Yeah.
So with 3 girls, it is I say it on the show. When you're surrounded by ovaries,
it's rough.
It's different.
I'm the only dude in my house.
I was the only dude in my house.
You don't have a say so.
It's nothing.
Yeah, no.
But the you were supposed to make sure you paid the bills and and you can't bring that up because people get mad when you bring that shit up.
Yeah, it seems sexist, so to speak. Yeah, no, I'm the only man in my house. Like the dog is a girl, my girl's a girl, the daughter. I mean, it's just me. So I understand what it's like to be the only guy in the house. I get it.
And I'm raised in the generation I was raised in. I don't want to duplicate how disciplined and how people talk to you. Yeah. I can't. If I curse at one of my girls right now, you would think I shot them in the chest. Like if I would have said, why the fuck is your room not clean? They would literally pause and be like, why would you speak to me that way? So it was a different, whole different thing. But I enjoyed being a dad. I miss waking up in the same house of all my daughters. Like I still wake up in the same house.
There is something to that. I do look at my house though and say, you know what, I'm thankful that it's intact.
And be very thankful.
I am.
Now I'm not regretful on the relationship.
That's what it is.
And there's no disrespect. I'm not trying to, but because there was dysfunction that it shouldn't happen. But I do miss being able to peek in the room and see all of them. Yeah. And just be like, oh, they're good. She's good. Like me and my oldest still live in the same house. Yeah. So I still take time out and appreciate that. But I
do look at her in the middle of the night sometimes. I go to the restaurant. I just stop by her crib.
It's crazy, right?
I just look at her.
How old is she?
She's only 1.5 years.
Oh, man.
I know. I'm just getting started. Yeah, I'm on the front end.
Dog, appreciate every second of the crib life.
I do.
Because you are beyond an Avenger. You're a superhero. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You are a superhero. And I didn't take that. I think I did pretty well, but I didn't take advantage of when you are a superhero in their eyes. You understand now the responsibility is showing them exactly what you want them to believe they deserve.
I just told my brother this 2 nights ago. He has a daughter as well. And I told him our responsibility as men is to show them not the negatives that we've seen, because we've had some trauma in our family too, right? I was like, our responsibility is to make sure that they know that that is not status quo. That's not the bottom line. That's not how. That's not baseline. We got to show them responsibility. We got to show them equity. We have to educate them. We have to teach them how to be strong. We have to teach them how to be able to defend themselves. We got to teach them about the world, what they look like, skin tone. There's so many things that we have to teach our kids. We have a big responsibility. It's bigger than you, and it outlasts you because they're going to live past you theoretically, right? So it's a big responsibility.
And nobody gives us that talk. Nobody gives us that talk. Well, I'm not going to say nobody. There's probably somebody who got the talk.
I did not.
But I didn't get it. You just make sure you had the kids, you take care of the kids, you pay the bills, and you be the man of the house. Okay, what the fuck does that entail? Like, can you give me the checklist of being the man of the house? Is it being the dictator that you are?
Yeah.
Is that what you want me to do? Is it being the dictator to run everything around this house the way I want it? And if people don't see me eye to eye, what I do is intimidate my way into getting my way? Like, nobody, like, communication skills. And once again, I'm 52. Right. So I come from a generation of being born in 1971.
Dictators.
And they were dictators.
Dictators.
It was just do what I said to do. So if you don't know algebra and you come home with a bad grade, I'm going to fuck you up.
Not help me figure it out.
I'm just that's going to help me with the algebra.
I still got to figure this problem out.
I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know this concussion would literally open my eyes up to what I didn't know in algebra. Like, this is amazing. Thank you for the CTE.
Yeah, no. I remember those days.
But having somebody to tell you the responsibility and having somebody to show you being strong is being kind. Being strong is, yes, I will stand in front of a bullet for you. But I also is being kind to you and showing you that you don't need to ever feel some type of pressure in this house when you walk by one of your parents, especially me.
We started that now. So she figured out how to use an iPad already because that's what kids do. But she gets stuck on stuff.
Right.
And she'll go, I don't know what the hell she's saying. She'll, And I said, do you need help?
Right.
Instead of me, chastising her or, you got locked out, I asked, do you need help? And she's so used to that question that every time she feels like she needs help, she just comes to me because she knows I'll just help her.
Right.
Versus her feeling like, okay, get away from me. I'm busy. I'm doing show stuff. I got meetings. I will pause what I'm doing to make sure that she has the help that she needs. I want her to understand that a dad's going to be here. I'm going to be your best friend. I have fucked up a lot. I continue to fuck up. So it's okay to fuck up. I'm okay with you being yourself. I'm okay with you voicing yourself, using your voice. I'm okay with you messing up. I'm okay with you making mistakes. I'll always be here. So that is the grace that I've given her because I didn't get that kind of grace. The same way, just like you said, they were dictators. I didn't get that either. If I got home and got beat up at school, I got beat up at home too. It wasn't like, you know what I mean? There was no compassion at all.
There was no compassion on losing a fight or being in a situation. And I do want to say this. Me and my dad are great friends.
And me and my mom are great friends too. So let me make sure that's clear too.
And I'm blessed to have both my parents. And I understand that the weirdest thing happens is that no matter how hard you try, parenting, you're gonna get into a spot where you're like, I don't get this. Like, I don't get what this kid...
Does that happen a lot?
Yeah, I don't get what this kid is doing. Like, why would you want... But it happened with my parents, with me. They were raised a certain way. And all we can do is... Me and my cousin talk about it all the time. All we can do is try and break the cycle. But people think breaking the cycle is that you destroy the whole cycle and you just create a new one. It's just gradual.
Yeah. It's little changes.
It's just talking to the kids. It's just having a conversation. I still want to say, shut the fuck up. Like, I really do. But you have to be like, let me talk to you.
I haven't gotten there yet, but I know it's coming.
You'll start learning your words that you can say, and then you'll start knowing that saying you're disappointed in your child is harsh.
Yeah.
I didn't know saying you were disappointed.
Do you have a suggestion of what else I could say? Because I haven't gotten that far yet.
Man, listen. All you can like ask that person of your. I'm freestyling now.
Oh, go ahead. We just here to have a conversation. Go ahead, have fun.
How do you feel about what you did?
I kind of like that. No one's ever asked me that.
How do you feel? Like, we know, as a child right now, what you did has gotten you here. And I'm upset about it. But I need to know how you feel about putting yourself in this situation so we can discuss this. Now, people who are listening to this, I know what you just said. You're out your mind. Like, do you know? I get it. It's not easy.
No.
Like, me and my oldest daughter had to go through some real tough times on what I had to deal with, and I'll never repeat it. But But what can you do? You can't scare somebody out of doing something.
But you're also teaching them in that moment how to have those difficult conversations.
Right.
That's going to translate to all parts of their life, whether it be school, work, partner, relationship, friendship, work, any of that. Anytime they deal with another human, there is going to be a point in our juncture where you have to have a difficult conversation. And if you start having those with your kids, you're grooming them to understand how to do so. You're making them think.
No, you're making them think, and also understand, parents, it's going to come back to you. Because when you're having these conversations and you're building their skill set to be able to talk, it's coming back when they need to talk to you about hey, Dad, how do you feel?
And that's when the dictators say, don't talk back to me.
Yeah, and the dictators would be like,
you don't
give a
ask me
fuck,
that.
I pay all the bills in here. I don't, but you have to
Ask
be
me
able
in my
to.
house.
I remember my daughter saying, why won't you go to rehab?
Wow.
Like, why won't, she was like, I don't get this, Dad. Like, why won't you just go? I don't have a correct answer. I said, I don't know.
There is no correct answer.
I said, I really don't. And my daughter would look at me, but then if there's no answer, what did you always tell me? You know what you need to do. You have the answer.
So she used your own tactics.
So just remember, she did the Jedi mind. She took my skills and she brought them back. But God bless, because once again, enjoy the crib life, enjoy the learning how to walk life, enjoy the drooling.
Oh, she's running now. We just got baby gates for the stairwell. She's moving.
Baby gates.
She's climbing now. So
and understand those baby gates, they ain't high enough.
they don't mean shit.
They don't mean they're hurdlers.
Right.
They will get over the gates.
Oh man. So let me ask you this. You were in Dallas for a long time. Let me pivot a little bit. From your time here, how did you enjoy it? What did you see from the city? And what are things that you think could improve on the city since you were so ingrained in the community here?
Y'all can stop raising your state flag as high as the fucking American flag. Y'all can start with that shit. Don't nobody see nothing wrong with this.
I've passed by about 25 car lots that have the biggest Texas flag I've ever seen in my life, and I don't get it. I never do get it.
It's on the same level as
Oh, yeah.
And I know Texas still gets a kick out of this. You know, we can still be a country if we wanted to be a country. We can break away from. We can just be Texas.
We can't get our electrical grid right, so we can't be a country. No, we cannot.
I love living out here. This is the craziest thing. When I came,
Really?
no, this is the craziest thing.
Okay.
When I came out here, it was the most traumatic experience ever because the only thing I'd ever come down south for was comedy shows. So when I went down south, it was to be the special person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you'd meet everybody, and I was like, wow, everybody, seems to be nice out here and everything like that. But I never thought in a million years that I was going to live. I was going to go from the East Coast to live in Dallas. So I remember when I flew out here for the first time, I packed everything up to do the radio gig. And I was like, dog, what am I doing? Like, I'm by myself.
I'm curious why you came here, too. I was about to ask you why.
Well, they offered me the job. And, and when they offered me the job, my mind said no, but my bank account said, dog, you were like months behind in your mortgage. Like you have, because out of all the money I made, I never saved a penny. Like all the money that came in went right back out.
No invested. No nothing.
Shit. I invested in having fun. I invested in that.
Okay.
But when I came out here, the only thing I tell people is, I like the fact that there's a downtown Dallas, and then you can go out to Plano and Arlington and like your boroughs.
The suburbs, yeah.
I would call them boroughs, but they're not boroughs.
Right.
Yours is like a whole different world. All the way in Austin, and like you guys got a whole like you can drive through New Jersey in an hour and 45 minutes. The state of New Jersey.
I like that though.
Out here, it's a whole bunch of space.
5 hours, 4 hours, 3 hours to get anywhere notable.
No, it's
San Antonio,
facts.
Austin, Houston, it's just too far.
And then I just tell people the only thing you got to get accustomed to is the political shit. It's the political views that are out here. See, when you got to make enough money where you can live the way you want to live,
and it doesn't affect you.
and it doesn't affect you.
Yeah.
But the politics of Texas is if you start dipping into that, then you realize how crazy this state really.
So you must not see any changes, and that's possible for the state. Then
I wish I could be more funny, y'all. I was disappointed that I saw so many black people in so-called influential political situations in Dallas, but it seemed like nothing really changed.
And that kind of lends to the history of Dallas.
Yeah.
There's a long-standing history of why things have not changed in the city.
I saw tons of black judges. I saw people who've seen and it just seemed like it just goes in circles. And then when I see a judge trying to change things, am I allowed to just say, when I see a judge like Judge Amber Givens, who is trying to change things, and then, in Michael Shawn's opinion, gets backstabbed and sabotaged by the people who look like her, who have gotten they money and know that the system doesn't work for people who look like them, but it does work for them because of the checks that are getting cut.
That's true.
I ain't got no evidence. I don't have. All I'm saying is there's too many people in powerful positions in the city of Dallas for this not to be a thriving city. Like Atlanta shouldn't be where everybody's saying is Black Hollywood.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Atlanta. God bless
No,
them.
but Dallas has a prevalent amount of, it has a prevalence about it, right? When it comes to black constituents, they do well for themselves. They have money. They're bringing in influence, they're bringing in money, but there's a structure in place that doesn't allow that to be prevalent. That's what I was looking to say. So I don't understand that myself. I've always wondered that.
It's always bugged me out to see people in those situations, then to go to these schools and see what these schools are like that Hispanic and black young people are going to, and the shape that they're in. And I just go like, it gets depressing.
It is. It's the reason my parents moved us out of South Dallas to Rowlett.
Right.
Because I was going to St. Anthony in South Dallas for a very long time. But the neighborhood started to decline and fast.
Right.
And so then we just couldn't go back. So then it's just like, well, if I want to be a part of these neighborhoods, I want, like what I'm doing now, I want to reach people in every sector, right? But some of these neighborhoods aren't going to receive me the same, right? Which is tough. Because I'm like, I'm doing this stuff so I can give you a better example of what we can be.
Boy.
But then when I'm trying to do that and trying to reach certain people, I can't get the help. I can't get them. I can't reach them, right? So that's tough. You know, I've always thought that was an issue with Dallas. Whereas I go to other places and I'm received just fine, which is weird to me. So I don't know if that's a Dallas thing or if that's a city. Like we talked about this earlier before we got on mic.
No, it's a country thing.
Yeah.
It's a country thing. And the brainwash is crazy. And me and Shawnee, who's she owns Media Room 360 TV on YouTube. She's the founder, creator, the whole thing. We've had these conversations like to a point where it's like we're exhausted of having the conversation because we know this shit is bigger than Nino Brown.
And it's
Like,
not,
this
and it's
problem
not
is so-
changing fast enough either.
And it's so rooted. It's so rooted in the existence of the establishment. It's rooted. It's like it's there. And somebody, unfortunately, and history shows us, somebody to upheave and switch that and blow that thing apart is risking their lives.
Like Jim Schutz did with that book he wrote.
Yeah.
The Accommodation. That
Yes.
book kind of told a lot about it too. And he was having problems. He talks about how he has so many problems just getting it out because it's the truth.
Yeah.
But that is why Dallas is set up the way it is. We talked about this on this show several times, that for it to progress, a lot is going to have to change. You have to unravel a lot of things that have already been done. And I don't know how that happens.
And then, unfortunately, when we do make money and we do get to that affluent status, that so-called affluent status, they put their knives right in us and they grab us and they say, "Come join. Come on, you're now accepted, and you can be part of this mega group.
One of the good ones.
You're one of the good ones. Now,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
I call it no. And Jerry ain't going. Whatever. I call it the Jerry Jones effect.
Yeah.
I get the best of them.
Yeah.
And I get them and I bring them in here.
And they'll shut the hell up.
And they'll shut up. And what they do is they know I got their back because no team protects their players like Dallas Cowboys.
Of course.
So he gives them that sense of protection, but he knows all their dirt. So there's nothing they'll ever speak up against
That
Jerry Jones.
same notion that you're talking about, I think it permeates throughout the city, though.
It permeates throughout the city and throughout this country.
I've seen, and these are people that are, financiers or they're bankers or they're, doctors, lawyers, whatever the position may be. They'll move to these affluent areas in Dallas. They're doing great for themselves, but they're no longer giving back anything to the community anymore. They're no longer reaching back to show people how to make their way out of these situations. It becomes just we're over here and you're over there, and it just stays that way.
And then they have their little parties where they all get together.
And I never go.
Because y'all, all right, so we'll play a little bit.
Yeah, let's play.
Dallas got some of the bougiest black people in the fucking world. Okay, this is why I never got
this is true.
This is why I never got in them corny ass circles. This is why I never got there because I don't belong there. Because I don't fuck with y'all. Because everybody is sitting there stroking each other on how important they really are. So it's just a competition of how important. So even when they do something for charity, it's still a competition on whose charity is the one that's popping and who's the one who's doing the most.
You're nailing it.
And at the end of the day, y'all are not going to go to the root of what the problem is. And I don't blame you. If that's not what you built for, that's not what you built for.
Mm-hmm.
What I blame you is for the bullshit facade that you put on, that you are doing something about it when you know you don't want anything to do with it.
And it's still gatekeeping.
And it's still sitting there like, who's the next one? Like the women of Dallas are, listen, man, I'm not going to name no damn names.
Don't.
But the group, and y'all know who y'all are, who sit there and do your version of Dallas Housewives.
Cherry picking.
And sit there like, this money's what I spent on that, that's what I spent on this, and that's what I spent on that, and this husband, and that. And then y'all be like, we got to bring up these African-American ladies. Y'all only give a fuck about the ones that you feel are right.
Or worthy.
I've had to be part of this group.
I've met some who's in Dallas, and you're not this, you're not that, you can't be this, you get off the Breakfast Club, you're not a radio station, you're not this, you can't do that. Why? We all have a lane. We can do whatever we want. So that's why I take my ass home. I don't go to none of these parties. I go sit with my daughter. I work on this show. I make my business connections, and I stay the hell away from everybody. And I just do this. And when it's time to pop out, I come talk to you. Then I'll be right back to the house.
And listen, I'm being petty on it because you live your life the way you want to live your life.
True.
It's just the phoniness that goes on in the, like, don't even get me started on the churches. I'll leave that alone for a different podcast.
You can come back and get more talk about it.
Y'all got another fucking hustle going on too. And it's the problem is there's no real organization that their whole purpose is to bring a community and uplift that community. And when I mean uplifted, I don't mean just giving them money. I mean giving them the tools. And that's a lifetime commitment. I'm not saying I'm built for the lifetime commitment, but y'all fronting like y'all down for the lifetime commitment. That's what pisses me off.
Yeah.
That y'all have these conversations with the $2,000 bottle of champagne or wine, and y'all all giggling and like, yeah, we got to do this, and these people. It just fake people.
It's lip service.
Yeah, the fake lip service gets me. It really does.
So what's your advice to the city of Dallas?
Duh.
One keynote, one takeaway.
I can't even but I liked living here. That was the crazy thing.
I'm trying to figure out how.
I really did.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I love Dallas because I grew up here, but when I can relocate, I'm going to.
Like where?
Oh, I would love to go to Seattle. I like mountains. I like marijuana. I like ocean.
He said, I like mountains. I like marijuana.
I'm being honest. I like the ocean. I like the coast. I like the people. I like the vibe. It's close to Canada.
I don't know if I could be in that gloominess. That's
the thing. Rain kind of energizes me, so I like Seattle.
Rain energizes you.
I love it. I was born in the spring.
You're a fucking plant.
I mean, I smoke them.
No, I never heard somebody say they want to go to Seattle.
It's either Seattle or Portland.
Now I've heard people say Portland.
Mm-hmm. They're about one and the same. Or the DMV. The DMV would be cool too. That'd be cool too. But anywhere out of the South, man. I'm trying to get out of here as soon as I can.
But I enjoyed my time in Dallas. I will say this, so we're gonna say this on a good point. I still get super love in this city.
You do.
This is one of the last cities that you can do radio, and that people really embrace you, and you can still come back. And them cats know you. Like, I've had people ask me by their name about my daughters. I haven't been on the radio in years.
So it's not like that back east?
No, it
seems like, what is it? iHeart has everything on Stronghold, but I see Hot 97. I see the Breakfast Club, all these other, Angie Martinez, all these different people that you see up there. But I would assume that.
They're celebrities, but they're celebrities. Like in New York, is not the touchy-feely thing. Like Charlamagne is a celebrity.
Right.
Like, in as much as he would like to be in the public, you can't because New York puts you in a certain place where it gets dangerous.
Okay.
Dallas is the last place that at the Kroger, people be like, yo, are you drinking again? Is that why you're... Like, they literally get that personal with you.
Okay.
And all I'm doing is getting corn. And like, but the love, like, they have... Like, I really can't even explain. I worked in New York on Hot 97. Mm-hmm. I worked in Philly show, and I did get love there. Dallas is just different. The Dallas-Fort Worth area is just different on how they grab onto you. And I haven't been on the radio for years, and I'll still do a show somewhere, and these people will show up, and they're like, Michael Shawn, and me and my kids used to listen to your We the Worst records, and they really are adamant that if you do something, we'll support it.
This I can say is true because we have had a good amount of support here since we've been doing this. I mean, there's not a lot of podcasts in this city that do what we do.
Right.
So we have had a lot of support, but I can also say our support comes from abroad a lot too, though.
Right.
So what is the most fun part of your career? That's the one thing I wanted to ask you too. Let's make it a little lighter. What's the most fun that you could say that you have? What's your favorite part?
The favorite part is you're halfway through your set. So you're doing like 45. Let's say you're doing 40, and you're halfway through the set. And you realize that these people have locked in and they've forgotten every problem they have in their life. Mm-hmm. And you could honestly say, I did that. And you're only halfway through. Like, you're only halfway through. So you already know what you got coming up.
Yeah.
And you're like, just come with me. We're about to spend 45 minutes and I'm going to take you that in this moment. And that's why sometimes I have to stop thinking about what I'm going to say next. And I have to stop and just take this in. Just take this in. Because I always say before I get on stage, I can spend 40 minutes making you forget your problems or 40 minutes making you laugh at your problems. Either way, I'm going to have a good time. That is the most fun to me when I feel the energy of people. And now I'm allowed to be everything that I think I was supposed to be, that I am. I shouldn't say supposed, that I am. That shit is an amazing feeling. And I'm not even, it's better than sex. Like literally, because you can simulate what happens in sex.
But you can't simulate that.
You can't simulate.
No, whenever I do good on this, I'm like, okay, that was cool.
That was cool. Like when you're in the midst of something and you're like, this is a blessing.
Yeah, it
like,
is.
I'm not, this, don't take this for granted.
No.
Like, I remember I did a show at the theater in Madison Square Garden. It was an April Fool's comedy show. And they put me right before the headliner. I forget who the headliner was. D.L. Hughley was the host. The New York Giants had just beat the New York Giants had beaten, who they beat to win the Super Bowl?
Oh, what? I want to say.
Well, yeah, was it the Patriots?
I almost said it was the Patriots. Are you talking about the helmet catch?
Was it the helmet catch that they won? Yeah, they had to be the helmet catch.
Like
so they had won the Super Bowl, and I came out and had an amazing, like, this one moment in time where when I looked out, I couldn't even believe this shit was happening. Like, I couldn't believe everything I was saying. Things were getting louder. Like, they were laughing louder. And it was going, I said, whoa, shit. Like,
that's got to be a cool feeling, though.
And then I knew this was the finale, and I said, there's no way I can. I was confident in the joke. Like, I knew the joke was good. Like, I said, this is going to hit. But they were so on this level that it was like a roar. It wasn't even like a laugh. It was like this roar was hitting
like
me.
Everybody was laughing in concert. Basically.
So I said, fuck it, here we go. Here's the last one. Let's see if I can take it home. And I took it home. I remember getting off the stage and D.L. Hughley was like, oh, you need to leave New York. I was like, well, how? Like, what do you mean? He said, just go. I said, D.L. is the realest. I said, well, can you help me? He said, no.
You don't need it.
You got to go. You just got to go. But that would have taken me leaving the comfort of Hot 97, which I thought was a dream job. And I was in LA. That's a longer story. But he said, you just got to leave now. He said, you got to go. But that night, I remember just being in that zone where I was like, this is incredible. And I did appreciate that. Because it was something crazy to see your name flashing on the billboard in Madison Square Garden. And then my dumb ass, because no matter what situation I'm in, I always feel like a regular person. Like, I feel like people have to tell me, stop acting like a regular person, which I think is dumb.
You feel regular now?
I feel regular. Good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel regular. Cool. So I went out. When everybody exited, I exited with the people. I went out the door because I wanted to go to the front to meet my parents. I didn't go backstage.
How'd that pan out?
It was fucking great. They was like, everybody was like, what the fuck? What up? And people were beeping horns and everything like that. I was just like trying to meet my mom and dad because they were there. Man. So they were, but it's moments like that I was like, wow, that was dope. But those are good. You know what? I haven't talked about this memory in a long time.
I'm glad I can bring it up.
Yeah,
man.
Good looking on that.
Yeah.
I don't mind you being a plant.
I'll be a plant. Yeah. Warn me. I got you.
That's dope.
What do you have going on now with your comedy? Are you still on tour right now?
We are not technically on tour, but it still shows coming up. We, like I said, I keep promoting this because this is the best work I've ever done on radio. When it comes to radio or anything, is this morning show that I do with Media Room 360 TV on YouTube. Okay. It's the best I've ever, it's the first time nobody's ever been on my neck and asking me to come to the office to talk about what I just said.
So freedom.
So it's a freedom. And the people that I work with, Shawnee Scott, Jay Black, Sexy Mo, I'm in my comfort zone. Like, these are the people that I feel the most comfortable to launch off and go. So that's why I got the shirt on. I was never like the person to ride for the team. Like, I wasn't really like, I wore K104 shirts because the rest of the clothes weren't clean. So, and I had a lot of them, and I had a lot of hoodies. But Media Room 360 is something that I really want people to watch just so they can experience what it is. It's the safe space. You get to their comments that flash up during the show, and there are a few viewers that I have to proofread. Like, we'll leave a comment up there.
Yeah.
I just don't want my voice part of the comment. But it's a safe space, and it's something that we do Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., and it's something that I'm super proud of right now. The comedy shows are coming. We have a reprom. When will this air? Because I don't want to give
Friday morning.
Friday morning?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a reprom. This person had this idea to do a reprom for those people who had failed proms. I didn't know how many people had failed proms.
I didn't even make it to mine. I might need to go to this event.
Oh, go. So
I didn't make it. Yeah.
You didn't make it to the prom.
I did
Was
not.
it by choice or?
I think I just wanted to hang out with my boys. I didn't want to get the limo and the suit and all that shit. I just didn't want to do it all.
Cool.
It seemed like a lot of work. I just want to do it all.
So you're the testimony.
I
so
am.
now
That's terrible.
But May 20th, because you're sure your situation is solid.
What time is this thing?
It's May 20th. It starts at 8 o'clock. It's in Fort Worth.
I think I can make this. Our engineer gets married on May 20th, but I think I will get out of his wedding in time to. I might be able to make that happen.
So it's May 20th, 8 o'clock till midnight. The first hour, not for me. There's an open bar. So everybody who likes to drink, there's an open bar. I'm hosting. Okay. I wasn't supposed to be hosting. I bogarted my way into hosting is when I saw it. And Shawnee is hosting along with me. So we're doing that. If you want to get tickets for that, go to event.create/reprom23. So
and I'll make sure to put it across the bottom of the screen.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so we rock out. So that's an event that I'm getting a kick out of doing because I want to have fun. Because I went to proms.
You did?
But they were.
Wait, you did? You went to prom yourself?
I went to
dressed up, did the whole thing?
I did the whole.
How was it?
I went to a white high school.
Me too. How was it?
But it was a band and shit. Like back then, I wasn't really, it was hip hop. There was a band and the girl.
This is why I didn't want to go. I knew that shit was gonna happen.
Yeah, and then the girl picked out the tux because then there was corsages and stuff, and it wasn't. I was 17. I went to 2 proms. I was 17 for one.
2 proms.
Yeah, 18 for I went to 2 proms.
Got you okay.
And the second prom was. That was disastrous. That was disastrous.
None. So I might need to check this event out.
But come to the prom and hang out and check out the morning show. And there is a comedy show that we used to do a once a month comedy show at the Arlington Improv.
Okay.
For years. So I'm trying to set that up.
I've been trying to go to improv because I want to do it so bad. So if you know anywhere I can go get that done in Dallas, I just want to go do where they give you a random scenario and just go at it. Like.
Oh, you want to do improv like the bits?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know who does that around here.
I would love to do something like that.
They have an open mic. That's really difficult. Like,
I know it is.
I have super respect for people. Like
I'm
you
sure
really
it
gotta
is.
be free.
I just want to throw myself in the fire.
Do it.
I mean, this is kind of the fire, so
Yeah,
I want
do
to
it.
really get into it though.
Do it, man.
If you find one, shoot me a message. Let me know. I'll be there.
I've seen some amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen some amazing people do them. We used to go to a place called the New Eurekan Cafe in New York, and there was a Latin comedy troupe, and they were like, and I would perform, but I'd perform my set.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "No, you need to come. Son, come, get down with this." And I was like, "Fuck that!" Like that is you got to be fearless.
Yeah.
And you got to understand when somebody takes it off script.
Gotta keep rolling.
You got to keep rolling with it and see where you can go with it. You should do it.
I want to do it really, really bad.
You should do it.
Before we wrap up, Gather, man, is there anything you want to tell the people other than Dallas sucks and all those?
Dallas. I didn't say that. We're recording too, right?
Yeah, we're recording.
I didn't say Dallas sucks. I didn't say Dallas sucks. I got love for Dallas.
Say get it together.
I'm not moving to Seattle. I got love for Dallas. No, I'm just playing. Be happy. Like find your passion. Because when you find your passion, and as I say this, when you find your passion, you no longer, because people say, I found my passion, I get paid. The reward is I get paid. No. Your reward is that God allowed you to find your passion. Most people don't get that. No. Most people don't get to actually have an inkling finding your passion. Like I say this all the time, real quick, because I know we got to wrap up.
You're good.
When I first started doing comedy in New York, I went to a comedy club and I went to the bar because I was watching a comedian, and I stopped listening to the comedian. I started thinking about what I would say, and I said, I want to do this. So I went to a comedian named Wyatt, the One Man Riot. When Def Jam first came out, he had a half hour on there because he used to do like 15 to 30 minutes on Def Jam. He said, excuse me, go to an open mic. There's an open mic in the middle of the afternoon. It's like 3 o'clock, and you got to pay. No, he didn't tell me you had to pay. He said, go to open mic, it's 3 o'clock. So I was the loser dude following his girlfriend at the time. She went to NYU University. So I would go to NYU every weekend because I had no life. I was just, because I followed her. Like, she was a graduate school, I followed her. And I went at 3 o'clock. When I got there, they said $10. So I had to pay $10. So I went there and I got on stage, and it was this dark little comedy spot, and it was a comedy club, and I didn't know it was a bunch of very angry comedians. But I didn't know. I was young and dumb. I didn't know. And I got on stage and I made them laugh once. And when I left, I knew what I was going to do for the rest of my life. I was 23. Wow. And I said, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. Do you know how many people would pay what you could charge if I can guarantee you that you walk in a room and you come back and know exactly what you're going to do for the rest of your life? Do you know how much money people would pay for that? And I got it. And I found my passion. Dog, it's priceless when you find exactly what it is that you know you want to do for the rest of you. It's like finding a person that you know you want to be with for the rest of your life.
Here it is.
Yeah. And you're like, I found her.
Yeah.
I found the person that I want to be. Well, I found a career that I want to do for the rest of my life. So when you find a passion, I may not get rich off of this. You might not get rich off of it.
Right.
But you found something that you love to do.
I love this.
And there are people walking around every day clueless on what it is they love to do.
I get people to ask me all the time, how do you do that? Have a job, have a 9 to 5, hold that down, have a kid, have a family. I was like, planning, but I love it.
You love it.
I'll be up at 2 o'clock in the morning planning this shit.
So
I sit on the toilet and bathroom several different times looking up, okay, what do I want to ask him? Okay, let me retweet that.
Exactly.
Like, I'm just into it. Like every part of my day, it's incorporated into every part of my day. And that's how I know I found what I love. Does it pay me? Yeah. But I found what I love.
But you found what you love, and now you have the opportunity because you're going to have the work ethic because it's your passion. Mm-hmm. You're going to have the work ethic to put you in situations that can make you money. And if it does make you money, God bless. We're not turning down the fucking money. We're going to take the money to do what we love doing.
Right. Oh, yeah, you're right.
So find your passion and go with it. And don't let anybody distract you, disturb you, and try and tell you that it's not what you should. Whatever the hell it is, find your passion and work with it.
I love that.
Appreciate you.
This has been a blast.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in, man. I
and I think this is the first podcast I've done that I'm sober. I think maybe. I think. Okay, I was kind of sober for one podcast. I was kind of sober for one podcast.
Well,
I wasn't all the way
sober. I feel
sober.
honored, I think.
No, you should.
Okay, cool. All right, I feel honored.
You should.
Cool.
This is an all sober podcast.
Hey.
So any critiques or comments, I got to eat that.
The funny thing is, they probably think all this shit, there's nothing in these cans. So this is a super sober podcast.
Oh, yeah. This is all
Celestial, he loves y'all's water, by the way.
This water's amazing. The can is dope, but the water's amazing. So it's just water.
And that is from our brand partner. So if you're ever in there, tell them we sent you, they'll give you a discount.
And I'm so goofy now. There's another one with the CBD
water.
And I had to ask you, real talk, I'm like, can I pass a drug test if I take them? So
I'll do some research and get back to you. I really do not know. I know that it's not the part that gets you high, so I would think not, but we don't want to risk it. So
yeah, we don't want to risk it.
Let's make sure. But that one is not, there's no CBD. All sparkling water.
It's dope. So it's just water, please, y'all. Don't spread that fucking rumor.
So shout out to Celestial for one thing. Thank you to them. If you need anything from them, you tell them that we sent you. They'll give you a 15% discount. As always, thank you for listening to this podcast. We appreciate you guys. We hope that you enjoyed listening to it as much as we enjoy giving it. Thank you for tuning in. Typically, Trevor will be here and say we prophetic, but he ain't here, so I'll say it. We prophetic.
Okay.
And other than that, man, we're gonna get out of here.
Yeah.
Bye. See y'all, man.